Yeah, so good morning and welcome to another session. Today we are going to discuss it's a workshop. Workshop में बोल रहा हूँ because we will do certain practices also after the talk. So first 20-25 minutes there will be a talk on hypertension. What is hypertension? What are the main causes? And what are the diet and lifestyle changes that you can make to gradually get off medications also. So first of all, I'm not a medical doctor, but yes, I'm a health coach. We are like trained how to deal with people with hypertension, but please don't stop any medications on your own after this session because gradually tapering down medications, stopping medications, always do it under the guidance of a doctor. Okay, so that's a disclaimer that I want to give before I start the session. So before we start the actual presentation, so do you know actually what is the leading cause of death worldwide? Anyone? Yeah, those who are present just before the session, they will not answer. What is the leading cause of death worldwide officially?
Obesity.
Obesity is the underlying, I would say, risk factor, but the leading
Heart
cause of death
related.
is heart
Heart.
related. Yes, it is heart attack. It is heart attack, and number two is cancer. But the common thing, but the common the common symptom, heart attack actually is a symptom. It's not a disease. The common factor that is that it is high blood pressure. So if you ask what is the underlying reason for death, not the cause of death, the reason for death actually is high blood pressure. This I came to know from the book of Dr. Michael Greger. I was personally very shocked because people take this condition very lightly that if you high BP, high diabetes, cholesterol, एक तरह से ये सर्दी खांसी बन गया आज के दिन अगर किसी को डायबिटीज हो बीपी और कोलेस्ट्रॉल हो they consider this is nothing, you just take a medication and you're good to go. But believe me, this is a silent killer. So high BP normally doesn't come with any symptoms. So it is very important if you are in your 20s, 30s, 40s, at least once in every 2 years. Even if you don't have any symptoms, get it checked by a medical doctor. Okay, so अगर आपका BP high आया, still you don't have symptoms, you have to find a way out to reduce it, either through diet or lifestyle changes or through medications. Don't leave it high because it is damaging your heart muscles. It is damaging the arteries of your valves. So normal BP should be like 120/80. The uh, numerator should be 120, denominator should be 180, which is systolic and diastolic. I won't go into the details. But 120/80 मतलब normal है, best is 110/70, which is where I target my patients and myself. 110/70 is the best. This is the target blue zone BP that I say. The target blue zone मतलब if you want to live very long, it should be slightly lower than normal range. If it is above 130, then it's stage one. And if it touches 140, it is stage two, where you need medications. If it consistently stays above 140, definitely you have to take medication. So please, again, I'm requesting, please don't stop any medications on your own after this presentation. Okay. Now, why does high BP happens? Now, first the question, होता क्यों है ये? Because our bodies are designed very perfectly by God. This was perfect when we were born. Our BP was low. धीरे धीरे बढ़ता रहा. But now I get many cases where people in their tens and twenties, they also get high BP. So what do you think now? कि BP होता क्यों है? Let's see. I'll start the presentation later on. Let's use our own brains and let's get our thinking caps on. Why does this happen?
Thoughts, your thoughts and
Mental states, yeah,
hyperactive.
mental states, hyperactivity, stress. Yes, one of the
Lifestyle.
major reasons.
Lifestyle.
Yes. Yes, but lifestyle in specific, yes, Mukesh very rightly said your thoughts.
Hmm.
Yes, your thoughts, matlab your mental states, your stress, your depression, anxiety, worry, all these things. This is one of the major reasons why youngsters today are getting. I can see my child, he's 10 years old, saying, Papa, मुझे stress हो रहा है. Papa, I'm getting a lot of stress of studies. My exams are coming up. How will I cope up? What will my friends say? And you are laying the roots for high blood pressure. Okay, so one is this. Okay, stress. What else?
Excessive
Wha-
salt.
One at a time. Anjana aunty.
Excessive salt.
Excessive salt in diet, this is debatable. Yes, doctors say that you should be on a low salt diet, but this is debatable. Why? I'll come to that later on. Ekta, yeah.
Sleep pattern, excessive
Sleep
exercise,
in
maybe
improper sleep. You should sleep, right?
sleep pattern.
Yes, sleep
Le-
pattern.
le-
So yes, the wrong timing of sleep. Basically, our bodies
oh,
have a rhythm. Okay, ये बात आप समझ जाइए. See, one thing, you one key takeaway if you want to take from this session ना, Understand that our body works in rhythms. There are two rhythms जो हमें खास ध्यान देना पड़ेगा. One is the circadian rhythm and one is the ultradian rhythm. ये दो बात हमें समझना पड़ेगा. Circadian rhythm is the sun के हिसाब से. So you should wake up with the sun, and when the sun goes down, your activity should go down. And latest by 10 o'clock, you should go off to bed. If you are like a late sleeper, if you consistently sleep late, you are laying the foundation for high BP definitely. Second is ultradian rhythm. So this is a rhythm throughout the day in our bodies, which happens every 90 minutes. Which happens every 90 minutes जो होता है ये. Every 90 minutes officially we should take a 20-minute break if you want your BP to be normal. So every 90 minutes take a 20-minute break. This I'll come to later on. So ये दो rhythm समझना बहुत जरूरी है, circadian and ultradian. Thank you Ekta for sharing. So one is stress, one is sleep. What else? Somebody typed in the chat box. It was very relevant. I'll just read out. Wrong lifestyle. Yes. Smoking, drinking, unhealthy diet. Yes. Infradian rhythm I'm not covering right now because it is out of the scope of this. Yes, infradian rhythm is there, but I'm not covering that right now. Somebody messaged me personally, what about infradian rhythm? वो हम बाद में बात कर सकते हैं. Well, that is out of the scope of high BP. Okay. So diet. What kind of diet do you think is bad for high BP? What do you think?
I also heard a talk from the nutrition that not only salt, in fact, intake of sugar also leads to high BP.
See, sugar, yes, obviously. Sugar is, I would say, slow poison. Okay. So when I stopped sugar from my diet in 2008, my inflammation went down, all my symptoms of arthritis and Crohn's vanished away. When I went on the diet, जो मैं diet आपको बताने वाला हूँ now, I'll just share what I did. But yes, diet high in salt, sugar, oil. So I'll come to why oil is bad for us. Salt. So I say SOS. Salt, oil, sugar. SOS. SOS is a warning sign. समझ जाओ आप. अगर ये तीन आपके खाने में बहुत ज्यादा है, then you are at a high risk of developing hypertension or high BP in future. Apart from this, diet high in saturated fat. Diet high in saturated fat, very bad. Saturated fat कहाँ से आता है? Mainly from animal products. Thirdly, why so much? I mean, animal products, matlab milk and meat. Milk also. Milk is very high in saturated fat. Thirdly, you will be surprised that high protein diet, a diet which is very high in protein. If your protein is very high but your activity is low, then also you can develop high BP. Why? Because the diet is very high. This I learned from Cornell University. So when the protein is very high in your diet, what is protein? Protein are made up of amino acids. So to break down the acids in our body, there is a mechanism where calcium bicarbonate is leached out from your bones. So there is a direct correlation between high protein and low calcium. And when the calcium goes low, when the calcium goes low in your blood, then also you develop high BP. So if you ask me the correlation, salt and high BP are less correlated than calcium and high BP. So if you want to reduce your high BP naturally, actually you need to increase calcium in your diet and not from animal sources, not from milk. This is a big myth that we have been sold by food marketing companies that milk has calcium. Milk does contain calcium, but it is very high in protein, which actually leaches calcium from the bones. Okay, so don't worry, मेरे बच्चे को calcium कहाँ से मिलेगा? There are a lot of sources which you will speak about कहाँ से calcium मिलेगा. But remember one thing, yes, low salt diet is important because salt causes water retention, which increases your blood pressure. At the same time, calcium is very important if you have high BP. Calcium in your diet. So quickly, I'll start my presentation. So this was just touched upon what is high BP and what are some of the risk factors, but in detail, we will see in the presentation. Questions we can take later on because otherwise this will go on and on. I want to share certain breathing practices also. So this is the poster that I made yesterday about hypertension workshop where we will understand certain breathing exercises later on and certain routines also for managing this condition. Okay, I'm just trying to move it to the next slide. Yes. So it's a silent killer, like I said. So don't be happy that you have high BP and you have no symptoms. It's a cause for concern. If your BP is above 140 regularly, you need to do certain changes in lifestyle. If that doesn't work, you have to be on medications. Please don't play with your life because this affects your heart, your brain, it can affect your kidneys, it can cause heart attacks, strokes, whatnot. So please don't take this condition lightly. It is a silent killer. So कब होता है ये? When the force of blood, so हमारे the blood is obviously circulating in the blood non-stop 24/7, but when the force of blood against the arterial walls of the heart is high. Okay, so हमारे हार्ट की कैपेसिटी है, इट मतलब कि जो हार्ट बीट होता है एंड द प्रेशर दैट इज देयर, दैट इज कांस्टेंट since our childhood, but later on for some reasons that force increases, and because of which doctors say that we have high BP. So high BP is to do everything with your heart. It's to do with the blood pushing against your arterial walls. And as I said, it can be deadly because it can lead to events such as heart disease, stroke, and kidney failure. Now we need to understand why does this force increases. Now let's go do the roots. Why does this force increases? The main reason why the force increases, the key is yes, hormonal changes, but the main hormone, the elephant in the room here is insulin. Now explain the logic why insulin is the reason not only for diabetes, but insulin resistance rather. Insulin resistance is the main reason behind high blood pressure. Now, whenever we eat something, हमें उससे energy आती है because food gets converted to glucose when we eat, and our pancreas produce a hormone. So there are some beta cells in our pancreas that produces a hormone which is known as insulin, which enables that glucose to enter our cells. Okay, I've explained this many times in the past. So it's a normal functioning body. When you eat something, insulin is produced, the glucose goes into the cells, and you are functioning normally. Problem happens when insulin is not able to open the receptors of the cells. So cells का समझ जाइए सिंपल भाषा में, हमारे सेल्स में एक ताला लगा हुआ होता है, राइट? वो ताला ओपन करने के लिए इंसुलिन चाहिए. जब वो मिसमैच हो जाता है, वी गेट समथिंग नोन एज इंसुलिन रेजिस्टेंस. एंड व्हेन यू आर इंसुलिन रेजिस्टेंस, your blood sugar goes up. That's when doctors say that you have diabetes. Along with diabetes, when you have high level of glucose floating in your blood, it gets converted to fat, and that fats get deposited in the walls of your arteries. The thickening of the arteries happens, which is known as atherosclerosis. हमारे हार्ट में हल्का 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 blockage, and this starts now at the age of 10. No surprise, 40% of the heart attacks in Gujarat are between the age of 11 and 25. Okay, because that atherosclerosis, this is a fact, you can check on the internet. Okay, so when the walls of the arteries start thickening, so blood has to like pump harder. That is when your BP goes up. So the root cause हमें समझना पड़ेगा is insulin resistance. It's not the salt. Second reason is the amount of oils and saturated fat that we are having that causes the blood to thicken. जब blood हमारा thick हो जाता है, it becomes very difficult because these are very very narrow arteries in our heart. So when your blood is thick, when you eat a lot of junk food, a lot of processed food, a lot of fried foods, a lot of foods high in saturated fat, oils, whatnot, milk is very unsaturated fat. That is when you start getting high BP. No wonder BP is so common in India and America, which are two of the largest consumers of dairy. See, I'm not that kind of person who doesn't eat dairy only for like ethical reasons. I stopped dairy for health reasons because I knew why dairy is bad for me and what damage it causes to our heart. Okay, so don't worry, there are many replacements. अगर किसको डेयरी का रिप्लेसमेंट चाहिए, बट डोंट वरी, कैल्शियम उल्टा लीच करता है. जो लोग सोचते हैं ना कि कैल्शियम दूध पियो, डॉक्टर ने बोला है, दे आर नॉट ट्रेन्ड इन दिस, दे आर नॉट न्यूट्रिशनिस्ट. So we should know our scope of work, and doctors also sometimes go beyond their scope of work by suggesting diets and nutrition, because nobody has improved their osteoporosis and nobody has improved their calcium by drinking more milk. As tak I haven't seen a single case of osteoporosis getting reversed by drinking more milk. So don't worry about the calcium part. Right now, let's focus on the heart part. Because मालूम है कि मैं जब milk stop करने बोलता हूँ ना, first thing that goes in everybody's mind is calcium. हमें calcium कहाँ से मिलेगा, हमें protein कहाँ से मिलेगा, and that is in fact damaging you. That is why hospitals are full. You go to a cardiologist, the line लगी हुई है. If this was right, if this diet was right, Why people are not getting cured? Why people are getting ill? So two reasons I gave you. One is insulin resistance and second is diet high in saturated fat. ये हमें समझना पड़ेगा. Few other causes that I have noted down from my own experience and from my notes जो मैंने कॉर्नेल में स्टडी किया था. We covered hypertension in detail at Cornell. I'll just cover that. Obesity, visceral fat. If you have a larger waist circumference, if your waist circumference for women, if it is higher than 35, for men, if it is more than 40, then you have a condition which is known as metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome is a cluster of conditions where you have high BP, high diabetes, you have high cholesterol, you have a larger waist circumference, and you have a low HDL. Then you have a condition which is known as metabolic syndrome, which is a recipe for heart attack. मेटाबॉलिक सिंड्रोम. सो ये मत समझिए बीपी डायबिटीज कोलेस्ट्रॉल है तो नॉर्मल है, दवाई लिया तो ठीक हो गया. वो कभी ठीक नहीं होता है. दैट इज जस्ट बीइंग मास्क्ड बाय मेडिकेशन. यस, दैट विल एक्सटेंड योर लाइफ, बट बिलीव मी, द लास्ट फ्यू years of your life, it will be life live in hell. It will spoil your kidneys, it can spoil your liver, it can spoil your digestive system, it can give you strokes, heart attacks, what not. We need to be very, very careful. And like I said, insulin resistance, this is one of the major causes of hypertension. Then processed foods, diets high in salt, sodium, animal protein, meat, uh, processed meat, milk, very bad for us. Saturated fat, trans fat, the fats which are normally found in processed foods, the pizzas and burgers of the world, samosas of the world, they are very bad for you. Low fiber diet. I see people, they consume little to no fiber, so very less fruits and vegetables, very less natural foods in their raw condition. Low dietary potassium and magnesium. This is again a major cause of high BP when your diet is very low in potassium. And late night eating, like जो बहुत late night munching करते हैं, that is also a reason for high BP. SOSMM. So this stands for salt, oil, sugar, milk, and meat. So these are 5 poisons we need to reduce or stop. These are 5 poisons. Salt तो definitely कम कर ही दीजिएगा, but oil, definitely we cook our food without oil. We don't use a single drop of oil and we make everything. So you just need to learn how to cook without oil. Sugar, again, it's an inflammatory substance. It's a substance, it's not a food. It's not a food, it's a substance. Sugar, eliminate that from your diet. There are many alternatives to sugar also. Milk, again, you do your food intolerance test. I am sure 90% of you would be lactose intolerant. आप करिए अपना food intolerance test. सबसे पहले आपको आएगा intolerance milk का. That is, it is so common. I do that with my clients in private practice. आज तक मुझे एक नहीं मिला जिसको who was not lactose tolerant. Okay, everybody was lactose intolerant. And refined foods. This is again a major like thing that people want everything refined, that maida, white rice, oils. जो हम खाते हैं, we don't eat natural foods in their natural form. We just want that from their texture and taste. We just refine them and have. That is also a major reason. So these are some of the dietary reasons for high blood pressure. Like I said, low calcium. This is again very bad. Low calcium कैसे होता है? Because of high protein diet. ये मत बोलिएगा मेरे जिम के ट्रेनर ने बोला प्रोटीन लेने के लिए. They are not health coaches. They don't know about nutrition. This is very wrong thing what is happening in the gyms nowadays. People take a lot of whey protein and a lot of like protein in each meal. You need 1 gram of protein. अरे कौन से विराट कोहली, how much we are working hard. We are leading a mostly sedentary lives and we are worried about that we need that kind of protein. Actually, the protein intake is dependent on your activity level. If you are an athlete, if you are a marathon runner, definitely your protein requirement is high. But if you are a housewife, if you are working in an office, definitely you should not intake more than 10% of your calories from protein. That is the higher limit. That is the, so normally I suggest to my clients 8 to 10% of your calories from protein. That's it. I'm off milk, of all everything for the last 2 years, and I'm just growing my muscle every year. I'm 40 now. I don't look like 40. I'm growing younger by the year. All my markers have reversed. All the markers of aging are reversing. It is so, so powerful. So, low blood calcium. This is another reason. Lack of physical activity. So, समझ जाइए, heart is a muscle. Your heart is a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it. ओके, सो रेगुलर एक्सरसाइज बचपन से क्यों सिखाया गया था हमें? बचपन से कि पीटी में, स्कूल में, फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड में, कि रोज कसरत करनी चाहिए. देयर इज अ साइंस बिहाइंड इट. यस, योर हार्ट मसल्स बिकम स्ट्रोंगर एंड व्हेन योर हार्ट बिकम्स वीक, then also your BP goes up. So daily exercise. That is why I suggest to some of my students जिनके घुटने कमजोर हो गए, who need a knee replacement, and they say कि no, I don't want a knee replacement. Why you should get a knee replacement then? Because you're not able to walk, you're not able to exercise. That will damage your heart muscles. Aging, this is a normal, I would say, a risk factor. But yes, with the diet that we are going to learn, with the routines that we are going to learn, this can definitely be controlled. This is a modifiable factor. मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ एजिंग स्टॉप हो जाएगी, but yes, your risk of getting high BP along with age can come down also. अल्कोहल स्मोकिंग दे तो बैन कर दीजिए इफ यू आर हैविंग इन मॉडरेशन. कभी कभी चलता है, पार्टी में चलता है, आई हैव इन मॉडरेशन टू बिकम कूल. थोड़ा सा चलता है, क्या होता है, रेड वाइन इज गुड, उसने बोला गुड. इट इज बैड. अल्कोहल इज बैड फॉर योर ब्रेन ऑल्सो, इट इज बैड फॉर योर लिवर ऑल्सो. सो यस, अच्छाई सब चीज में कुछ कुछ अच्छाई होती है, ओके, बट ये डोंट, ये सोचो नुकसान क्या हो रहा है उससे. So please, if anybody is having alcohol in moderation, also please stop it. It is bad for you. Smoking, I don't need to elaborate. Stress, someone said before the start. Stress, hustle culture, loneliness. Loneliness के कारण भी ये सब बीमारियां होती हैं. Improper sleep habits, we covered that. So see, we have understood now that this is our wrong lifestyle basically. So if you consider everything, your diet, exercise, sleep, stress. So if wrong lifestyle is the cause, then logically, right lifestyle is the solution. Medications, yes, they are important if it is very high, but they will keep you sick for life. But if you improve your lifestyle, believe me, I have people here within 3-4 days जिनका BP लो आ गया. अंजना आंटी, can you share your experience, please? आपने मेरे साथ share किया था 3-4 days ago. When you had high BP, what did you do? And कितने दिन में आपका BP normal हो गया? अंजना आंटी, are you there? Can you share?
Yes, yes. Hi, everyone. So, many years ago, I developed high BP.
Louder,
But
please. Slightly
yes,
louder. Slightly louder.
yeah. So I developed high BP and I didn't want to go onto the medication. So my BP was 150 by 100. The doctor told me, I'm giving you only 15 days. And within 15 days, if your BP doesn't come down, you have to go on to the taking the medicine. But I was quite sure that a natural diet would help me. So what I did is for 3 days, I was having a lot of fruits and salads. And amazingly, within 3 days, my BP came to normal. The doctor was
How many years ago was this, auntie? How many years ago was this?
This was at least maybe 20 years back.
20 years back. And is it still normal? Your BP, is it still normal?
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah, thank you, Anjana aunty. So Anjana aunty is mostly following a whole food plant-based diet, wherein her BP came down naturally. Sorry, I'll just extend the talk by 10 minutes or more. Those who came for exercise, I'll just have to extend because this is a very important thing that is going on. Is everybody okay with this talk extending this by around 10 minutes? Yeah. Okay. So here we have a case where she had a BP of 150 by 100. Go to a medical doctor. Normally, doctors start medication, but she was very lucky to find a doctor who gave her 15 days. I have here people who are taking medication for three years. I have Rita Bhavi here. I have Vishal. I don't know Vishal is here. Vishal is here. They got completely off medications in spite of taking medications for years. So if wrong lifestyle is the cause, right lifestyle is the solution. Quickly, I will cover what are the lifestyle changes that we need to make in order to like. So सबसे important होता है आपका diet, I would say. Yes. So first, yes, obviously, अगर आप if you are obese, if you are overweight, then you need to bring down your weight and reduce your fat around abdomen. So just go to a good nutritionist, a good health coach, and just bring your weight down. This is one of the easiest way to bring your blood pressure down. So if your BMI is high, उसको आप नीचे ले आइए. Logic क्या है ये? So our heart, हमारा जो heart है, that is designed to serve a certain size. ओके, सो मेरा हार्ट है, मेरे बॉडी स्ट्रक्चर के हिसाब से 65 किलो का वजन मेरा होना चाहिए. अब सपोज मेरा वजन हो जाता है 85 kgs, राइट? तो सरफेस एरिया ऑफ द बॉडी इंक्रीजेस. ओके, जब सरफेस एरिया इंक्रीज हो जाता है, देन द हार्ट हैज टू वर्क एक्स्ट्रा हार्ड टू सप्लाई ब्लड टू द एक्स्ट्रा सरफेस एरिया. दिस इज द लॉजिक व्हाई ओबेसिटी इज बैड फॉर अस. So somebody at the start of the class said obesity. Yes, obesity is one of the major reasons for not only high BP. अगर मोटापा है, आपका वजन ज्यादा है, तो हाई बीपी, हार्ट अटैक एंड कैंसर, थ्री ऑफ द, बोलते ना कि मेजर कॉज ऑफ डिजीज, मोटापा उसका एक कारण होता है. सो ब्रिंगिंग योर वेट डाउन इज very, very important if you have high BP. Next, intermittent fasting. This is one thing that does wonders. It's just a fancy term which we have been following for like within generations, and even our ancestors did it. What intermittent fasting is that you don't eat anything between dinner and breakfast. That's it. Dinner थोड़ा पहले कर दीजिए. Have your dinner between 7 and 8, and have your breakfast between 9 and 10. That's it. 7-8 बजे तक खाना खत्म कर दीजिए रात का, एंड सुबह 9-10 के पहले आप कुछ मत खाइए. सिंपल. दिस विल मेक यू इंसुलिन सेंसिटिव. जो हम इंसुलिन रेजिस्टेंस की बात किए थे, विच इज द कॉज. सो इफ यू वांट टू बिकम इंसुलिन सेंसिटिव, फॉलो दिस पैटर्न ऑफ ईटिंग. दिस इज जस्ट द सर्कैडियन पैटर्न ऑफ ईटिंग, कि जब तक सन हमारे ऊपर नहीं आता है, जब तक when sun is not very fierce, you don't eat anything. Simple. It's not very complicated, intermittent fasting. This I do with every client, and it does wonders, works wonders.
It's a
Please
very
mute
good.
yourself, everybody. Kirti, please mute yourself. Next is, yeah, plant-based diet. Like I said, people who follow a plant-based diet, what Anjana auntie did, she stopped all the animal products and just went on fruits and vegetables. Within 3 days, it came down, and still she's following that whole food plant-based diet, which includes cooked food also. Okay, so it doesn't mean you have to be on raw for your entire life. But yes, 50% of your diet should be raw actually, and rest you can have cooked. Plant-based diet, fruits and vegetables, foods which are high in calcium, like figs, अंजीर जो हम खाते हैं, they are high in calcium. Greens. So I suggest a green smoothie to everyone because it is very high in fiber also, both soluble and insoluble fiber, and it is very high in calcium also. Sesame seeds, it has more calcium than milk. Sesame seeds. So तिल के लड्डू जो हमारे पूर्वज बोलते थे तिल के लड्डू खाओ ठंड में, there was a logic behind it. It is very high in calcium, very good for your joints also. It is very high in omega-3. So all the seeds family, flax seeds, uh, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, they are high in many antioxidants, vitamin A, C, and E. So have a lot of seeds and nuts in your diet. You will have omega-3 also. Okay, omega-3 is also very good for the heart. Foods high in potassium like bananas, avocado, potato with skin. These are foods high in potassium. डाइट लो इन सोडियम, जैसे मैंने बोला सॉल्ट इंटेक थोड़ा कम कर दीजिए. सैचुरेटेड फैट तो पूरा ही बंद कर दीजिए. मैं तो बोलता हूँ इट्स लाइक पॉइजन फॉर यू. यू आर ब्लॉकिंग योर हार्ट डेली अगर आप कर रहे हैं. वाटर रिच फूड्स खाइए. तो जैसे मैंने बोला कि जब हमारा ब्लड थिक हो जाता है, सो ब्लड अगर थिन करना है आपको, सो यू डोंट नीड टू एक्चुअली टेक ब्लड थिनर्स. यू जस्ट इंक्लूड मोर वाटर रिच फूड्स, alkaline foods. Start your day with a fruit, not with chai. That is the worst way to start your day, with a tea biscuits या chai biscuit या chai toast जो हम खाते हैं. That is one of the worst foods you can do for your heart. I hope nobody is drinking tea here. पी लिया तो अभी पी लो, don't have guilt. कल से stop कर देना. Because I can see some people drinking something. Okay. Then there are some superfoods which are very good for your. This will naturally bring down your blood pressure. One is hibiscus. So I prefer that in a form of a green tea. So there is a hibiscus tea that I drink daily. That brings down your blood pressure by 7-8 points naturally. Ground flaxseed powder. This you can include in your smoothies also. You can include in your food also, dals also. Ground flaxseed powder. Wheatgrass juice. This has to be taken in moderation. खाली 10-15 दिन के लिए लीजिए आप, साल में 2 बार करिए. It is enough. Oregano. Oregano जो हमारे डोमिनोज के साथ आता है. So don't have that with pizza. Have that with your soup. Have that with your salad. Okay, that is also very good for high BP patients. Next is one more thing. Over exercising भी खराब है. So मैंने जैसे बोला lack of physical activity is bad for your heart. Over exercising is also bad for your heart. That's why I mentioned here medium intensity cardiovascular exercises. Don't go very intense with exercises unless you are an athlete, unless you have a proper diet plan to follow for recovery. Because actually when we exercise, something happens in our body which is known as oxidative stress. And वो oxidative stress हमारे heart के arteries में भी होता है, the walls of our arteries. So if you don't have a very professional plan for recovery, how do you, like antioxidant diet which is very high in antioxidants, don't exercise very hard also. 45 to 50 minutes daily enough for you. उससे ज्यादा एक्सरसाइज नहीं करना है हमें इन वन डे. ये मत सोचिए आप ज्यादा कसरत करके ज्यादा जल्दी पतले हो जाएंगे. इट डजंट वर्क लाइक दैट. इफ यू वांट टू लूज वेट, किचन में ज्यादा बड़ा सॉल्यूशन है रादर देन द मैट. बोथ आर इंपॉर्टेंट, बट यस, food is more important if you want to lose weight. So moderate intensity cardiovascular exercise. Brisk walk is one of the best exercises. Swimming कर सकते हैं. Swimming is very good for your heart. Running, yes, a bit of running is good, not much. थोड़ा बहुत running is good. But if you get very like बोलते हैं ना, हपसने लग गए, if you get very breathless, understand there is a problem. Staircase, yes, you can do some staircase. So exercises which are good for the heart, मैंने काफी exercise दे दिया आपको. सूर्य नमस्कार in yoga, very good for your heart. But always end your exercise with some breathing exercises or some pranayam. शवासन, प्राणायाम, निस्पंद भाव जो हम क्लास में सीखते हैं. You should be like able to talk normally after your workout. ऐसे बंद नहीं करने. यू शुड बी लाइक रेडी टू गो टू वर्क, कि मैट से उठा सीधा काम पे जा सके, इतने फ्रेश होने चाहिए आप. सो यू नीड टू लाइक, गाड़ी जैसे फर्स्ट गियर, सेकंड गियर, थर्ड गियर में जाती है, तो वैसे ही थर्ड गियर, सेकंड गियर, फर्स्ट गियर, एंड देन यू स्टॉप द कार. यू डोंट नेवर स्टॉप योर कार इन फिफ्थ गियर, राइट? सो सिमिलरली यू शुड ग्रेजुअली स्लो डाउन. सो वार्म अप के साथ कूल डाउन भी जरूरी है जब आप कसरत करते हैं. दैट इज वाई सो मेनी पीपल गेट हार्ट अटैक्स while running marathons, while they are in gyms, because they don't know what intensity to work out. And especially if you're in 40s and 50s, you need to be very, very careful with your exercise plan also. So ये मत सोचिए कि you get a kick. Problem क्या, exercise से kick मिलता है. Kick मिलता है तो you over exercise. You need to exercise within a range. There's certain heart range, and this is very bio individual. एक certain heart range में आपको exercise करना चाहिए. Very, very important. Nitric oxide, this is another thing which will help you. Nitrates you get from salads. So another key takeaway, आज से खाने के पहले आप eat a big bowl of salad. नॉर्मली हमारे इंडियन न्यूज में क्या होता है, सैलेड एक छोटे से बोल में देते हैं, खाने की बड़ी थाली होती है ना. इट शुड बी द ऑपोजिट वे राउंड. एक बड़ी थाली में आप पहले सैलेड खाइए, थोड़ा चबाने में मेहनत करना पड़ेगा, अभी मेहनत कर लीजिए, फ्यूचर में आप बाईपास सर्जरी एंड स्टेंटिंग से बचेंगे. ओके, सो ये मेहनत उस मेहनत से ज्यादा ज्यादा अच्छी है. 15 मिनट दीजिए सलाद खाने में, चबा चबा के अच्छे से. ईट अ बिग बोल ऑफ सैलेड फॉर लंच एंड डिनर, एंड हैव कार्ब्स इन लिमिटेशन. जो हम खाने के साथ हम रोटी सब्जी दाल चावल खाते हैं, वो आप लिमिट में खाइए, बहुत ज्यादा हमें नहीं खाना है. Okay, so this contains a lot of nitrates, salads. That is very good for your heart. It helps in dilating the blood vessels of your heart. Okay, so there is a reason I say always eat a lot of fruits and salads. In fact, we do a 3-day raw diet also many times. That is very good for your health. Okay, साथ में exercise में भी also there is something called as nitric oxide dump exercise जो हमें करना चाहिए. High intensity interval training wherein in short bursts, 5-5 मिनट के burst में आप high intensity exercise करें and then you rest. Very good for your heart. Okay, अदर वॉक 8 to 10,000 स्टेप्स इन अ डे. सो खाली एक्सरसाइज करने से नहीं होगा, पूरे दिन हमें एक्टिव रहना चाहिए. सन एक्सपोजर, दिस आई कैन लाइक, सन इज गुड फॉर एवरीथिंग. लाइक दिस इज वन स्टॉप सॉल्यूशन आई वुड से. सो डेली सन एक्सपोजर कोशिश करिए सुबह 10 बजे के पहले, इफ यू आर इन इंडिया. मॉर्निंग सन एक्सपोजर वेरी गुड. स्लीप टाइमिंग्स मैंने बताई दी आपको. URB आई टोल्ड एट द स्टार्ट ऑफ द सेशन. एवरी 90 मिनट्स टेक अ ब्रेक, क्लोज योर आईज. 1 मिनट के लिए नहीं, 10 से 15 मिनट के लिए रिलैक्स करिए, थोड़ा घूमिए फिरिए, दूर देखिए, सब कुछ करिए आप. This is known as ultradian rhythms in our body, wherein every 90 minutes, if you take a break, actually your productivity will also go up. Actually, okay, try this. And manage stress through breathing exercises, yoga, asanas, meditations, pranayam, very important. Hot shower before sleeping. This helps me get good night's sleep. Me and many of my clients also have noticed. They when you say, Manish, it's wonderful, yeah. When I started taking a evening shower an hour before sleeping with hot or warm water, this helps your blood pressure calms down it, and it helps you sleep better also. And last but not the least, don't work as if there is no tomorrow. ओके, एक दिन में हमें पूरी जिंदगी का पैसा नहीं कमा लेना है. यू हमें रातों रात अमीर बनना है. यू डू मल्टीपल थिंग्स एट अ टाइम. यू डू स्टॉक मार्केट, यू डू बिजनेस, यू डू दिस, you do that, and ultimately it takes a toll on your heart. Take break from works. Vacations are very, very important. And certain spiritual practices like chanting, reading from scriptures, candle gazing that we do in our classes, writing 10 positive points. This also helps your blood pressure comes down. These are all documented scientifically. We learned this at Cornell University, where they taught us about breathing exercises, yoga, how this, all these practices, the spiritual practices, this helps your blood pressure come down naturally. Okay, so certain affirmations that I do myself for relaxation. So you can just take a snapshot of these. So I'm blessed and relaxed, I'm safe, I'm protected. Because what you say to yourself, if you say I'm always stressed, you put pressure on your heart. If you say I'm relaxed, it works. Affirmation works. It helps reprogram your subconscious mind. So these are some of the affirmations that I do. I surrender to life's flow without any expectations. When you have a lot of expectations from your spouse, from your partner, from your children, from others, it does create a lot of stress for you, which in turns, have no expectations. I always say to my students, my clients, our expectation chhod do yaar. Accept. Acceptance is very, very important, because if you always expect and not accept, it's a recipe for heart disaster. Very bad for your health. So this is all I wanted to share in the presentation. Sorry, thoda sa lamba ho gaya, but I'm sure it was very, very informative. And this is just to make you aware that you can do something. ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको कोई बीमारी है तो आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते. And don't wait for the diagnosis. Don't wait for a wake up call कि हमें जब बीमारी होगी तभी हम ये सब रूटीन चालू करेंगे. Why wait for that? You are precious. आप समझिए, you guys are precious for your family. And once you get this, the trifecta of high BP, high cholesterol, and diabetes, believe me, शुरू में तो कुछ नहीं होगा, but after 10, 15, 20 years, your life will become hell. The last 20 years of your life, 10 years of your life, they are very bad if you have these conditions. And the good part is these three conditions can be very easily reversed. It's very easily reversed. There is enough data in medical journals. There is, like, they called it the placebo effect and whatnot. I have people with Sharon. I had a stint with Sharon where I was a facilitator there also. Diabetes within 21 days it goes away. BP within 21 days it goes away. Cholesterol within a few months it goes away. I have seen people reverse their autoimmune conditions with this diet that we are following. It's the same diet. It's nothing special. It's very easy to follow. It's enjoyable. It's tasty. You actually don't miss anything. Once your taste buds get aligned with the right kind of food, believe me, you will never ever touch that junk food again in your life. You won't crave for it because you get all the nutrition. Cravings क्या होता है? When do you get cravings? When you don't have sufficient nutrition. आप कितना भी junk food खा लीजिए, you will crave for more. But if you eat a fruit, if you eat natural foods in their natural forms, you will feel satiated, you will feel satisfied. It's just a matter of getting used to. Okay. So let's practice some breathing exercises and then physical exercises. Also, this is optional. If anybody wants to exit, you can exit now. I'll stop the recording now and I'll stop the exercise part later on. Record it later on.